Hello, it's Durgamata. Today is my last day here at the festival celebrating my spiritual teacher's birthday, and I'm making a few recordings before I go home of some more of the mindfulness exercises. Now remember about mindfulness, we notice where we are, what we're doing, thinking and feeling. And where I am today is in the garden of the house where I've been staying in New York. And what I'm doing is going to lead you through an exercise in conscious breathing. And remember, before we start any exercise, whether you're standing up or going to lie down or sit, I recommend that you just stretch and do a few twists so that your body doesn't complain about being still for a few minutes. And because the whole object is to be mindful, we may notice a little voice in our mind saying, "Hey, what are you thinking about? You're supposed to be here and now. You've gone off into the future or back into the past or into the world of daydreams. What's going on? Come on. We're supposed to be mindful. You're not very good at this, are you?" And then you remember, but we're not supposed to criticize or judge ourselves in mindfulness. So another voice will come in and say, "Oi, what are you doing criticizing yourself?" It's fascinating observing the inner conversations in our own mind, observing the thoughts as they change and the feelings. Maybe we're warm or cold, or there's a breeze, or we feel uncomfortable, or there's an insect bothering us. And all these things catch our attention and take our mind. And it's interesting to notice the thoughts are often habits. We have habitual ways of thinking. And at the same time, one thought, if we notice it, can lead to another. And then that can open up to another. And in no time, you've gone quite a journey in your mind. In mindfulness, we watch all this with an attitude of curiosity and kindliness. And if we notice the little voice is being critical, we even notice that little voice with an attitude of kindliness and no criticism or self-judgment. We're just aware. And we patiently smile at it and bring it back without any criticism or judgment. A lot of mindfulness practice comes from Buddhism. And the Buddha talked about the mind as a drunk monkey, always jumping and shouting and disturbing you, pinching and swinging through the trees from one branch to another. You can watch your mind and watch the thoughts and just notice how restless it is and how it never stays still, even for a moment. Scientists have studied the mind with electrodes on your brain to see how the thoughts move. They're electrical currents and they pass through the brain in particular ways. And if they're habitual, they create a deep, strong, wide highway through the brain so that the electrical currents can pass really fast. And if they're useful, positive thoughts, that's great. But a lot of them can be quite negative and quite unhelpful. And so that's something else you can watch. Notice whether your habitual thought patterns are helping you. Are they positive and inspiring? Or are they critical and negative and not so helpful? We're looking at conscious breathing. Now, you've noticed how your mind wanders and jumps, like the Buddha said, like a drunk monkey. And one of the best ways of teaching the mind to come and be still and stay here and now in the present moment is to watch your breath. You simply relax sitting down, standing or lying down, and take your attention to your breath. You notice the inhale and the exhale, which sounds really simple. When you take time to sit and observe your breath, You can notice what it feels like from the moment it enters your nostrils. Can you feel it in your nose? Can you feel it passing down your throat into your lungs? Really pay attention. You may not be able to feel it in your lungs, but can you notice how your body responds as your lungs expand? You can notice it in your shoulders and your back, as well as your chest. Just take a few moments now to watch your breathing. Notice that just by paying attention to it, it tends to slow and deepen. Anytime you feel tense or anxious, it often helps to take 3 or 4 gentle, slow, deep breaths in and out. Watching the inhale and the exhale, and noticing the point at which the inhale stops, the exhale starts, and the point when the exhale stops and the inhale begins. Many of the breathing exercises encourage us to hold our breath for a second or two before exhaling. So you inhale and hold, and again exhale and hold, and that's called retention. So in your own time, at your own speed, without any pressure or stress, no force, just observe your breath for a few minutes. notice the monkey mind shooting off in another direction, you can simply call it back. I think of my mind as a little child. Some people give it a name. I say, hey, have you gone off? Come back here and sit with me. Help me to observe the breath. See if you can do 5 inhales and exhales, 5 consecutive breaths without your monkey mind jumping about and taking you somewhere else. If you do notice it moving around, just kindly speak to it. Come on, we're practicing conscious breathing. Come back here, sit on my lap and help me. As you breathe in, do you notice that your clothes feel different against your chest? Or against your waistband? When you're ready to finish the exercise, just rub your hands together, nice and warm through the friction. Hold them against your face. A sense of kindly affection and gratitude for another mindful exercise. Another moment spent with yourself, training your mind to be calm and still.